Before we actually place an image on this page, just double-click the layer name here in the Layers panel to get the Layer Options dialog box where you can change the name of the layer. And we'll rename this layer from Layer 1 to Images. That will help us organize our file later. So I'll press Return to accept that, dismiss the Layers panel, and now I'll choose File, Place, and let's navigate to the desktop inside of your project files, inside Part 1, Lesson 1, inside the Images directory where you'll find the museum.psd file. When you have that file selected, notice that while you can place legacy file formats in InDesign, such as EPS and TIFF files, InDesign also lets you place native files, in this case, a Photoshop document. When you have museum.psd selected, go ahead and press Open. Now before I actually place this image down, notice that my thumbnail cursor here is very helpful. Instead of just a tiny icon, InDesign CS3 now shows us a live preview of the content you're going to place. I could place it here at the margin, or I could place it here at the edge of the document, but I actually want to place it all the way out here to make sure I take advantage of the bleed on this document setup. So I'll just click to drop that image down. I'll select the selection tool, and I want to scale this image to fill up the entire width of the document. So I'll press Shift Command on the Mac or Shift Control on Windows to scale both the frame and the content and take advantage of the bleed value on all sides of the document. The last thing I'll do on this file for now is trim up the bottom of this frame so we crop it a little bit and constrain it to the top 3/4 of the page. Now let's jump over to the Pages panel and we'll switch to page 2, but before we do that, take a look at the new Pages palette up here where we actually have live thumbnail previews of what our pages look like. It's just a little thing, but it's a nice addition. Now, double-click on page 2. Now on this page, we're going to place several images. Before we do that, we need to use a little bit of pre-canned layout that I've designed for us. So again, choose File, Place, and in this instance, we're going to place the file rightcolumn.inds that is in Lesson 1, Topic 1, and this little bit of layout has a text frame and several graphic frames pre-designed for us. So just go ahead and click Open, and I could drop this around anywhere on my page, but new in InDesign CS3 is the ability to hold Option or Alt on Windows and have this snippet bounce back to its original source location. So no matter where I click, InDesign will place this content exactly where I intended it to live. Now what we need to do is place a little image in each one of these 6 squares. Now that's not very hard, but it is tedious. So let me show you what's new in InDesign CS3 to make this process easier. Just choose File, Place. Let's navigate to the Thumbnails folder inside of Lesson 1, and we'll select not just one image, but we'll actually shift-click all 6 images. That means InDesign CS3 allows us to multi-place images and text files in one process. So with all those 6 images selected, I press Open and take a look at my new cursor here. Notice in parentheses it says 6. That's how many files I have to place. And if I use my arrow keys, my left and my right arrow keys, I can actually switch through the images and see which one that I want to place. Now I'm going to start with the basics and just start loading these images up. But as you can see, there's a dilemma here. All of these images are actually digital photographs, very high resolution, very large image dimensions. The problem here is that the dimensions are too large for these little frames. So in a normal workflow, you would have to place all of these images and then you'd have to resize all of them. InDesign CS3 makes this so much easier because we have frame fitting options. So I'm going to press Escape several times to empty out the cursor. I'm going to press Command or Control Z several times to undo the multiple place that I've done. Now let's select the black arrow tool here at the top of the toolbar, and before we place those images again, let's change the frame fitting options for these 6 frames. So just click and drag around all 6 frames to select them, and then go to the Object menu and choose Fitting, Frame Fitting Options. So we're going to change this option for all 4 frames at one time. Right here at the bottom, this is the option that you really care about. For fitting on an empty frame, we want to change the fitting to fill the frame proportionally. That means no parts of these frames will be empty and our images will only be scaled proportionally. They won't be distorted. Alrighty, so click OK, click off those images, and let's try one more time. File, place. I think you're really going to get a kick out of this. Select the first image, shift-click the last image so we have all 6 ready to place, and click Open. Again, you get the multi-place cursor, and you're ready for this. Just click on those frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Saving ourselves tons of time. We get all 6 images in very quickly in one process, and they all fit perfectly.